obviously a tough loss. Really proud of our effort. I mean, incredibly proud of our effort, and for the most part, our execution defensively. We win everything that I felt we had to do to win defensively. Limit points off turnovers, which we did. Limit second chance points, which we did. Limit fast break points, which we did. For the most part, we kept them off the foul line. And really, for the first time with this team, found a way to be competitive in a game when our offense was anemic, with effort and defense and rebounding. And that hasn't happened with this team this year. So obviously that's a sign of progress. But it goes without saying we had an incredibly tough shooting night from our guard court in particular. And the two home losses, we've been 5 of 23 from the three-point line in both of those, and I thought we had several good looks that we missed. Obviously, there were some late shot clock ones that were tough, but we also had a lot in rhythm. And in the end, what could be the player of the year took over. Hits a big three on a tough catch behind a handoff ball screen, and then of course the shot at the end. But what you want your best players to take over when it's being decided. And Bentil and Dunn, those back-to-back threes when we were up 38-33, they get a dunk and then an offensive rebound and then back-to-back threes to tie it. So big point in the game.
Questions for Cedar Rapids?
Yes, both guys. Coach kind of touched on it a little bit, but given that the losses are part of this ball, obviously, how do you take that as a step forward, given that you gave yourself a chance to win the game despite your offensive woes?
Definitely, we got to take it as we got to move forward. Like Max said, our defense kept us in this game, and we got to take that and keep getting better on the defensive end. Like Max said, we didn't shoot the ball the greatest, and we kept ourselves in the game with our defense, and that's what we need to focus on that and take that away from this team.
I would just say that obviously we played a good team tonight, and like Coach said, the effort was there, but for us to improve from this, I think, it comes from watching the tape, and there's going to be some plays in the first half and second half, and, maybe we would have changed those and, did what we were supposed to. The game might have went the other way. So I think, we just have to watch and see what mistakes we made and just try to learn from it so we can win this game next time.
Yes, both guys. Was it Providence defense, or was it just an off night?
You got to give credit to their defense. They made everything at the rim challenging. I can't tell you how many layups we missed, but that's not like us. It's not like WAP or anyone. We normally make our layups, and so you got to give credit to their defense. But, we just missed shots. If you look at it, we shot 25% from the floor. They shot 29%. It was a defensive battle throughout the entire game. Nobody shot the ball that great.
Any other questions for the student athletes? I guess give you a chance to give you guys a chance at the end when that game looked like it could slip away. I guess how much more disappointing is it to lose like in that fashion?
Every loss is disappointing. You can ask anybody on the team or anybody that's played the sport or any sport. Every loss hurts. But the difference between feeling bad about it and learning from it is the difference we need to make. We got to learn from our mistakes, correct them, and move on. There's a whole new chapter to write. There's a new game to play. Like, you got to have a short-term memory. You got to take what you've done and just move on. And what you've done good, you got to move on and keep building on that.
I would just say with, this group of guys we have, we obviously, we lost a lot of tough games on game-winning shots last year. So obviously, that kind of cuts deep. But, on that last play, Taz played great defense, and, he just made a great shot. So just kind of have to just kind of take it and swallow it.
Obviously, you're up by 7 at halftime. Are you thinking first half, we could have had some separation on these guys, or I guess what was the mindset at halftime?
We had to come out defensively like we did the entire first half and lock in and do what coach has given us for our game plan and follow that as correctly as we can. And we just got to make shots. And there's not going to be many nights like tonight where we miss as many shots as we did. And like I said before, we just got to learn from it and move on.
Yeah, I mean, just like Toby said, I mean, I thought we had the effort there on defense. We just weren't able to capitalize on offense, and it's tough to win games when you don't do that.
One more for the student athletes. Thanks, guys. Questions for Greg and Jeremy?
Greg, you've done such a good job on the ball screen. Obviously, on that last play, was really just one guy. Just because he froze the screen a little bit.
Yeah, we sent him to the left, which we wanted to do. He's so explosive going the other direction, and we had our longest defender on him. It was a challenge shot, but again, he's an incredible player. He's one of the best players in college basketball, and I couldn't have been more proud of the job we did on him in the first half. And it's a team defense. You don't guard Chris Dunn with one guy. Obviously, one guy's got a lot of responsibilities, but the help behind him is really important as well. But the reality of it is we held the number 12 team to 50 points in 68 possessions. If you'd have told me that, I'd have said we're going to win the game. But they were tough and strong and had a will defensively as well. And we just couldn't quite make enough plays.
Do you think you lost the game in the first 35 minutes or the last 5?
I don't know. I mean, I think you'll go back and look at, in a close game, you always go back and look at a possession or two where you wonder what the heck you're doing. But there's also going to be a lot of possessions where we had pretty good shots from the right people, and we did knock them down. I almost felt like we exerted so much effort on the defensive end that we didn't have as much in our tank in transition offensively. We didn't have as much. I just thought we were a little lethargic with our cutting on the offensive end. This has been a pretty crisp offensive team with the player movement and the ball movement, and tonight that wasn't the case.
I guess you mentioned the similar shooting numbers from Providence to Villanova, given that game really, the Villanova game really hinged on how many stops you could get, versus tonight you really had a chance to win this game with your defense. I guess just the effort you guys have made in practicing the strides, that has to be kind of, a positive sign for you.
3 of our 5 and really 4 of our 5, because St. John's at the end of the game had a little run when we were up 14 or 15. If you take that run away, we've held 4 of the 5 teams under 1 point per possession. We didn't do that much at all in the non-conference portion of our schedule. But we did it to Providence, we did it at Seton Hall, and we did it what was the other game we won? Georgetown. So the strides that we need to make on defense, we're moving the right direction. It's just it was tough. Obviously, Zach and Jeff both being in foul trouble. As much of a mismatch as Bentel is for your 5-man, you also need that presence on the block to make your offense flow. And when we had to go with Cole and Toby or Ronnie at the 4 there, that we were really out of rhythm. We weren't getting anything. They were able to switch a lot of ball screens, and we couldn't make them pay for that on the block. And Jeff to get 5 fouls in 14 minutes, I got to go back and look at it. Was it his fault? Was he put in a position where he had to help because somebody else made a mistake? But that really hasn't happened to us all year, where both of those guys were in that kind of trouble, and tonight was not a good time for that to happen.
What was your mindset at halftime? You're up by 7.
Well, you look at our numbers and you say we shot 22% and we're up 7. We can't play any worse offensively. And then you look at their side of it and you say, well, they just shot 18%. They're not going to play any worse than that. Chris Dunn's probably not going 1 for 9 again. So I like the position we're in. Obviously, given the fact we shot the ball so poorly, obviously we had an opportunity there at 17-7 to really create some separation. You know, it was 19-7, I guess, and you know we go, looks like 8 possessions in a row without scoring, so it goes to 21-15. So there was a real opportunity there to create some space, really get the crowd into the game. The crowd was outstanding. First, you know, this was a typical slug it out, physical Big East basketball game, is what it was. And you know, there weren't many calls at the rim either way. And you know, we've got to do a little better job of finishing through that contact.
Is it contagious when guys start missing shots like that, especially the easy ones?
You'd like to think not. You hope it doesn't all happen on the same night. We missed a lot of shots at the rim, you know, that were relatively easy shots.
Any other questions for Coach? Obviously, you know, the old saying, sometimes teams need to learn how to win. How much could a game like this, if you could have pulled it out?
Oh, I mean, it would have been huge because, you know, Providence is – this is the same team that, you know, Michigan State, when Valentine's healthy, is as good a team as there is in the country. And it was a tie game with 3 minutes to go. I mean, this – when they were playing Michigan State over Thanksgiving, they beat Arizona the night before. But this is a really good basketball team. You know, I don't know how many teams in the country – you know, we did a great job on Bullock, and he got in some foul trouble tonight too, but Bentel and Dunn and Bullock, I mean, those 3 guys are really, really talented basketball players, and then they've got some pieces that complement those guys well. So when you've got Chris Dunn with the ball in his hands, there's no 5-second call. I don't care who you put around him. I mean, it's a tough team to guard. So what we were able to do something nobody else has done to him all year long defensively. You know, and for that, I'm very proud of my team because that gave us a chance. Without that, on a night like tonight, when our offense is as bad as it was, we get blown out of this place on our home floor. But you know, and that's, you know, we had the zones ready, but you know, when you hold a team to 30% shooting, it's tough to pull the trigger and go zone late in the game when you've done the job the entire game. And you know, he hit a 17-footer with a hand in his face to win the game, and you got to tip your hat to him.
Watson was, it seemed like he was getting to the places where he wanted to get. Did you get a sense that he was hesitant?
You know, Chris Dunn's length will do that to you. You know, he's tough to pass over because he's so long and he's so athletic, and you've got to try to pass around him. And you know, that's the first time Maurice has played a point guard with that type of length and athletic ability, and I've got to do a better job of getting him in situations where he's got more of an opportunity to be successful. But the reality of it is, if you go back and look at some of those 15, 17-footers, 12-footers that he missed, those are the same shots he made against Georgetown. You know, but again, he exerted a tremendous amount of energy along with the rest of our team, keeping us in this game defensively and on the backboards.
You touched on it a little bit with Jeff and Zach, the foul trouble, but it seemed like the pick and roll game with Mo and Zach was really effective in the first half. How big a factor was Zach's foul trouble in that regard?
That foul trouble was the difference in the game. I mean, I think if you go back and probably look at the minutes we played without one of those guys on the floor, I'm guessing our plus minus there wasn't great. And again, because now you really play into their hands. Now Bentel can chase a guy around the perimeter and not have to, you know, he got the 2 fouls, and then we couldn't really put any pressure on him because of all of our guys are in foul trouble. So we tried to manage it as best we could. And that's why I didn't start Jeff the second half, so I didn't want him to get his fourth, and I wanted to buy a few minutes. But you know, as important as the Dunn matchup was with Maurice going into the game, I felt our matchup with Bentel was just as important. And unfortunately, we weren't able to, you know, we weren't able to have those guys on the floor enough.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.